Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, we got a hell of a show for you. Signs my breakup is temporary. This is actually a popular topic on other coaches' channels. I've seen this come up again and again, so I thought I'd give you my take on it. Definitely different than the other coaches, I believe. Not putting anyone's name in mud, but some of their ideas of what temporary breakups are extremely simplistic. If they call you a lot, it's probably a temporary breakup. Wow, that's a news flash. All right, so let's get into it today. Signs you're in a temporary breakup. Signs your breakup is temporary. What does temporary even mean? Does that mean 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Define that for yourself. That's why these words sometimes, what's temporary, right? What is temporary? So, first of all, even if your breakup is temporary, okay, it's not good to have a relationship where you break up multiple times and get back together. Okay, newsflash, right? If you're breaking up 2 or 3 times in a year, that's a bad relationship. And if someone is using a breakup to win a petty argument, then that's no bueno too. To break up with your partner should be the last resort, and it should only come when negotiations have fully ended. I find that a lot of people have opportunities to work through their issues as a couple, but for those that let their emotions take over in the moment, they go straight for the kneecaps. I'm breaking up with you because you don't really care about me. I'm breaking up with you because I'm tired of you shutting me down in the bedroom. I'm breaking up with you because I'm just not in love with you anymore. But it's always deeper than that. I'm breaking up with you because you have a bad attitude. A lot of these things can be worked on with better communication, people taking a break. When I say a break, I'm not a break from the relationship. I'm saying a break from the argument. Okay. There are a lot of cases where people break up with someone and they think subconsciously that this will get their partner's attention and they will beg to be back with them. In turn, the dumper gets their way. They use it as a strategy, not as a end all, I'm done. It's more like, well, I'm going to break up with you because I want to get my way and I want to win this argument. These are what lead to temporary breakups. I believe most temporary breakups are based on shallow reasons to start with. And in some cases, some people just can't go with being alone for long. There's just people like that. But here's some signs your breakup will probably be temporary. Number 1, you've broken up before repeatedly and always eventually make up. Do you know any people like this? Do you have any friends, family, or colleagues that break up to make up a lot? Both of you believe deep down you'll get back together. You'll get back together because that's what you always do. It's a playbook. I've had friends before that would literally be on the verge of breaking up every 3 to 5 weeks. This is usually people in their first relationship, people in their early 20s. It's highly immature. It's very selfish. I'll break up with you. No, you'll break up with me. But if this is kind of what's going on, what happens is the process of breaking up to make up, or these temporary breakups, create excitement. They're actually creating lust and passion for a lot of couples. So, for example, this individual that I knew, that they probably broke up 10 times in a year, and then they'd get back together. They'd be lovey-dovey. And then when he got really serious, he wanted to marry her. It's like the excitement was gone and she was gone too. So if you're building your relationship around temporary breakups, and you're always breaking up to make up, there's going to be a beginning to an end. And that's actually what you're building a relationship on, is the excitement of making up. Okay. And I've talked to people before that have been in new relationships and they're caught off guard when their partner wants to break up so quickly. But if they look at their prior relationship and the other person's broken up 7 times with their past partner, they think this is how relationships go. So a lot of people would be like, oh, I hope my breakup's temporary. But the reality is if you're doing temporary breakups, there's probably multiple ones and it's not good. It's not a good thing. Number 2, they keep calling you and asking you indirect questions. This seems very obvious. They want to talk to you, but they don't want to just try to get you back. Now, in some cases, they really just want their stuff. I've literally had people go, what does this mean? It's like, actually, they really just want their stuff. They want their stuff back. Well, I think they just want to talk to me. No, they want their stuff back. They're done. But in some cases, if they call you many times, I mean, yeah, sure, that's a sign of a possible temporary breakup. Number 3, your partner has a history of breaking up to make up with past partners, or that's how their parents' relationship played out. I've heard this many times because I'll always ask people in a live coaching session. If you want to book a live coaching session, use the link below, writemac.com. We'll get you some clarity moving forward. I've been doing this for a long time. And I'll say, what was her parents' relationship like? What was his parents? And sometimes they'll say, oh, the dad always cheated and then they would make up and they did this for 20 years. Well, that's the playbook she's going to run. Okay. So, or if her first love, they broke up to make up, and then you're in a relationship, she'll look for ways to break up because she looks at that as, like I said, some people find it exciting. Some people find the drama in a relationship, especially some women, if they've been in an up and down relationship and they're with a stand-up guy for their next relationship who checks a lot of boxes but has zero excitement, is very predictable, she'll break up with that guy. And the guy will be like, what's wrong with her? Her last boyfriend was abusive. They broke up many times. Number 4, your partner isn't in a good place confidence-wise in other parts of their life. This is really overlooked because I watched a few other videos that are out there on signs your breakup is temporary. No one mentioned this. So you break up, you have your reasons, but one of you, for example, has a really crappy job that doesn't pay a lot. One of you has never felt worse about your body. One of you, you know what I mean? So if your confidence is low in other parts of your life, they believe they're ugly or fat. The list goes on, okay? Then they're more likely to have a temporary breakup because I've seen this before. If other parts of your life are really shitty and you're low on confidence, then losing your partner is like the last stand. So you're more likely to have a temporary breakup if the other individual has low confidence in other areas of their life and is struggling. Now, that's still, do you want to accept that is the question. Number 5, one individual in the breakup knows what leverage to use. Again, I watched some other videos on this. This wasn't mentioned. One individual in the breakup knows what leverage to use and how to manipulate the situation. For example, someone wants to break up with you, but they broke up and they don't have any place to go. Yet it's your house or apartment. You tell them they got to go and they do whatever it takes to make up with you because they're scared to lose the secondary gain in the relationship. Now, if you don't know what a secondary gain is, it's beyond love, right? How many times will someone put up with a faulty, ill-behaving partner because it's their job to? What do I mean? Translation. They take care of them with money. Okay? That's a secondary gain to love. We're in love. I love them so much, but they actually take care of me financially. So that's a secondary gain that can be manipulated during a breakup. There's other ways to manipulate and use leverage. It can be as petty as, well, the car is mine. The car is mine. Well, I thought I could still use the car. No, you're not going to use my car anymore. Right? There's things that you could break down that can create a temporary relationship because of the secondary gains in the relationship get eliminated. People use leverage. Number 6, they are still highly attracted to you, and you know that. This is fucking big, actually. Again, I looked at some other videos, signs your breakup is temporary. I don't remember seeing this one. They have always been highly attracted to you. I had a client recently. He's been my client off and on for a couple of years because off and on he's had problems in relationships. Very good with women. Very good with women. He doesn't have any issues with that. He's actually juggling too many women is the problem sometimes. Anyhow, he had a girlfriend. They had a kid together. They've been together 7 years. He has multiple kids with multiple women, by the way, while having girlfriends in other countries, literally. But his girlfriend finally was like, you know what, I'm done after 7 years. And she's still highly attracted to him. They still slept together that last week. She's always been highly attracted to him. He knows it. He knows he's good with women. And she's even saying, like, I have to try this. I can't keep doing this. You know when your partner's highly attracted to you. You know it. And that's an upper hand. And that is a recipe for sometimes being in a temporary breakup where if they believe you're the best looking person they can ever get with, man or woman, that is in your favor in the case of a temporary breakup. Number 7, you are a great partner overall, and you know it. You look great on paper, you've treated him well, and you didn't beg or say something horrible at the end. You handled it with calm acceptance. You were stoic in the end, then went no contact. Then it's possible it'll be a temporary breakup because that's textbook the way to handle it. Number 8, their family and friends love you. Now, this might be a little tricky because a lot of people overrate this. Okay, I'm not saying that you go and get them on your side or your team, but if their family and friends love you, it's in your corner that you could make up more likely than not. I'll take it a step further, though. Their friends are highly attracted to you. Actually, especially for women, social proofing, if their friends are highly attracted to you also, this would help out in creating a temporary breakup. They're more likely to get back with you. Sound shallow? Just the truth, folks. Number 9, they aren't talking to someone new and you know it. So there's some cases where they're like, I know they're not talking to anyone new. I know they aren't. And the reason you might know that, okay, the reason you might know that is because they aren't one to sleep around. They are extremely conservative, and I only have been with a couple partners in their whole life, and they're 35 years old, which is completely fine. That might be why you're attracted to them. But you just know they're not ones to sleep around or to monkey branch. And so you know the reason why men are attracted to women like this is because they're good partners. You can trust them. They're conservative. I've actually seen on a few videos before where I think it was some red pill videos, rational male. Oh, if you can't sleep with a girl the first week or the first or second date, then just move on. And I'm like, well, like a really good girlfriend, and I think a lot of males would agree, we really appreciate loyalty, right? If it takes you a month or it takes you 3 weeks or it takes you 2 months, that's probably how she's going to be if you broke up. She's not going to just get into a new relationship right away. So there are people like that when they love someone, they love them with all their heart. And so for them, breaking up is extreme because they're not going to be the ones to just monkey branch. And that's something you should be looking for in a partner, actually, from the get-go. And so sometimes people, I know they're not seeing anyone else. That might be a sign of a temporary breakup. Number 10, the reason you broke up is fixable or so petty that once the smoke cleared, someone came to their senses and apologized. And I'd add the person you're with is accountable when they're wrong rather than stubbornly dug in. If they're wrong or right, okay, so there are people out there that are really reasonable, They're sorry when they know they have to be sorry. When the smoke clears, when emotions die down, they can come back to the table and go, look, I was wrong. I apologize sincerely, not in a desperate way. But there's a lot of individuals out there, and this is what leads to long-term breakups, that no matter what, no matter if they're wrong, they're so stubborn, they never want to be wrong, and they'll just dig in. And some people were like, yeah, they're stubborn. That's just how they are. That's probably not a good partner. It's probably not a good partner. You don't want to be with someone like that. You want someone that's accountable when they're wrong. Okay? On the opposite end are people who just want to make up at any cost. I've had clients that are men like this. They just don't like to fight. So they're not very good at sticking to the breakup because they'll give in because they're just not strong enough to argue anymore, and they just will say sorry and let's just get back together. I want to stop the bleeding. Now, if women do this, it's usually accepted by men. It might work. Men that do this come off needy and weak, and it's unattractive. So the guys will be like, I brought over flowers. I did this. I did that. I did this. It's unattractive. Women can do it, and it comes off feminine. But there are people, and their personality or their character types, they don't like to fight. They don't like to be in this situation where they're arguing with you. And so they're pretty easy to make up because 5 or 6 days go by and they don't want to hate you. They want to get back with you at any cost, and they'll fall on the sword. They'll take the L on the argument, and they'll give in. And that's just who they are. And these are kind of people that'll create temporary breakups. I want to close this part of these 10 signs of a temporary breakup by saying that most long-term relationships can endure one serious breakup. Okay, so if you're together 5 years, 4 years, and you had one serious breakup, you can endure that. You can overcome it. You can do the right things. If both sides are clear on the issue and both sides agree it's fixable and it gets fixed, you can overcome it. But I would say this, breaking up multiple times weakens the relationship more and more. And I'd add small temporary breakups aren't a good thing. So if you're looking at this like, oh yeah, I hope we have a temporary breakup, that's not necessarily a good thing. That means that you are breaking up over a shallow reason, and both of you aren't taking time to really digest, what are we even arguing over? Right? It shows that someone in the relationship uses a breakup to win arguments or get their way. Really, most breakups should run their course, and each side should get ample time to reflect on what they did wrong and what they want moving forward. So, to me, hoping and wishing for a temporary breakup means that you didn't break up for a very good reason, if that makes sense. And that's, to me, it's going to breed another temporary breakup and another temporary breakup because no one learned their lesson. So it's not necessarily a good thing to have a series of these temporary breakups. If you have a breakup, you really should have some stout reasons and some things to work on and get back together. All right, so I'm just going to talk about a couple relationships that I know that had situations that could be thought of. I think the individuals in the situation thought, oh, this will be a temporary breakup. So this is what I was talking about. There's people that do this thing where they don't know they're doing it, but they're breaking up hoping to get a reaction or get their way, but they're not really in touch with, if I break up and they don't come back, can I deal with that? So there was a guy that wasn't a client first. I knew him for years and was a friend of mine, moved away. And he was with a highly attractive woman. And it was only his second serious relationship. And he was in his early 30s. He wasn't very good with attraction in women just because he just didn't have a lot of education on it or experience. And so he was very hyper and anxious about how much he was sleeping with her. In other words, that's all he wanted to talk about was she wouldn't hook up with him. She wouldn't hook up with him. He's really anxious about this. And I said, and he goes, you know what? I'm just going to break up with her. I'm done. I'm done. She's not hooking up with me. I said, listen, take a step back, have a conversation about that. But just know, once you break up, it's hard to go back. And if you're going to make accusations like that and you're going to hurt her, because he surprised her because she didn't see it coming. He actually went out to lunch with her, broke up with her on the spot. And I know the guy. I know he thought deep down somehow he'll get his way here. A month, 2 months down the road, he was texting her, he was begging her back, and she was laughing it off. And my point is, it wasn't something to break up over. It was something to talk about. He had it in his head. Oh, I know she just doesn't care about me, and we're not hooking up enough. We're not doing this enough. He made a decision to break up on emotion, and he didn't really have a good conversation about what the problems were. So then a month, 2 months later, because he didn't really have anything else lined up, he wasn't really that good with women, he was desperately calling her off and on, regretting it. I warned him, this is something I do. Now when I say this is something I do, I'm a breakup coach. I help people with their relationships. I told him, just don't act out of emotion. Take some time away, dude. So another client I had that had come to me 3 years ago for a breakup, and then had gotten into a relationship, and he was in this relationship for 2+ years. And he did the right thing, because while he was in a situation where he was thinking, I might break up, I'm really fed up about this, and this, he contacted me. He got a session. We did a FaceTime, and he was like, basically, he was just burned out a little bit. They were living together. He hadn't lived with a woman in 10 years. He hadn't been in a serious relationship for, I think, 10 years also. And so some of the things he was complaining about, I'm like, these are just issues in a relationship where you get in fights and arguments. It's not a grounds to break up. And so I told him, what you need to do is just get away. Go on vacation for yourself, or go with some buddies somewhere and get your space and time, and just miss her a little bit. And I honestly think, after doing this a long time, people should build this into their relationships. Even if things are going really well, you should have plans to be apart for a week to 2 weeks. I would say once every 3 or 4 months, to miss each other. Because that feeling that you get post breakup, you're like, oh my God, I appreciate them so much more. So I had told him this, and he had come to his senses afterwards, and he was like, you're right, man. I just needed a week away. You just get, especially when you live together, you get burned out on people. They annoy the fuck out of you. I've had roommates before in college, like, they're like brothers, but sometimes you're like, you want to smack each other in the face, right? When you're in a relationship, if it gets to that, right? Take a step back. Do I just need some space right now? Don't act out of emotion, because a breakup like that, sometimes they're petty. I mean, this guy was fighting over her yelling at him for taking out the trash. And then when we got to the bottom of it, she was having a bad day. She was stuck in traffic prior to that. We broke it down. I unpacked it with him. He's like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. She was just having a bad day. And he just hadn't been in enough relationships to realize, there's some things while you're in a relationship, you're going to fight. That's actually a good thing. Or you're going to be irritated or annoyed. Get some space. Get some space, man. It's really important. There was another individual I know that she broke up with the guy. They had been together for 5-6 years, and they were kind of getting distant. Things were getting mediocre. She could sense that he wasn't as into the relationship. And so she decided to break up with him on his birthday as a gift. So she said, like, this is my gift to you. I'm going to let you out of the relationship. And the guy was kind of shocked, because I dealt with the guy when she broke up with him. And he was on his way out. He did want to break up, but he didn't know how to do it. He was at the door waiting for the door to be open. She sensed that. So, but what I think she thought, because they continued to see each other for another couple months and hook up, she thought by doing that she would get his attention and pull him back. But you know what he said? He's like, dude, I'm done. If she wanted to keep the relationship, which she did, when she did that, she should have said, look, I think there's something wrong here. We need to talk. We need to talk. Because I feel like things aren't right now, and I feel like you want to break up with me. Instead, she decided to break up with him on his birthday while they were out to dinner and thought that would get his attention. That's not a good move. That's bad communication. And then that's not going to lead to a temporary breakup because they hadn't broken up a lot of times. So sometimes people break up thinking it's going to be temporary because they think the other person will just fold, and they don't. So just beware of that. All right, I got 2 stories on deck. Before I get into those stories, I'm going to just check the live stream. Pioneer Caddy, how you doing? I'm well myself. You asked how you doing. Wait if they happy in another relationship. Okay, dude, no contact hurts like a big one. Okay, yes, I know she is still super attracted to me. She said I was like her drug. I am waiting for her to come back and take her next hit. I have so many ups and downs, coach. I'm with you, Miguel. Hang in there, bud. Hang in there. He says, damn, we separated twice. Well, just because I said that multiple breakups aren't necessarily good, I'm just telling you, each breakup you have weakens the relationship and the trust a little bit. So it's just not good to have multiple breakups. But is it possible to get back after 2 breakups? Absolutely. But I will say this, Miguel, and this might make you feel a little bit better because I know your situation. We're doing some coaching. The fact that you're getting space after this breakup, because it was a heavy breakup, is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you would come back to me and you guys had a temporary breakup right now, you had a serious 4-year relationship, you did some bad things that you need to be accountable for and deal with. So you need the time and space for her to forgive you if she was to come back. So that's why what I'm saying is people might go, oh, I hope my breakup's temporary. But really, in most cases, a longer period in between your breakup is okay as long as people are healing, coming to their senses, letting the smoke clear. All right, so let's get into the story. First story. Hey, I'm writing my breakup story to get some perspective outside of my friends right now. They just seem to tell me to move on or that he's a jerk. It's not helping me. Well, I would agree. Get an unbiased, objective opinion like myself, someone that's been doing it for years. I'm here for you. My boyfriend was actually really good to me most of the time. So it's my boyfriend. You haven't said ex. So this is fresh, huh? He's 27 and I'm 28. I've got 2 kids and he was okay with that from the get-go. We've lived together for 2 years now and we were seeing each other for a year before he moved in with me. Really, it was a good situation for him because the city we live in is expensive for rent and my house is owned by my grandma, who really has me just pay the taxes on the house. Well, good for you. That's a sweet grandma and a good situation. And I'm happy that it's able to house your kids and help you out. You know, I'm sure that that's a luxury in some expensive cities. That's a good grandma. So when he moved in, he saved probably $2,000 he'd be paying for his apartment. Rents are crazy here. Okay. I mean, but you also have this place by the luck of your grandma or the grace of your grandma. Just make sure when you have someone move in like this that you're not holding it over their head. It's, you have the good fortune of this. You want to share it with your partner. You don't want to, hey, you got this place because of me. He had a good job when he met me, but he didn't really have much money saved. I've taught him to be better with money and just be more responsible. Well, good for you. One thing he has done really well is be there for my 2 boys whom he loves like his own. They even call him daddy. Wow, that's taking some responsibility there. Okay. Good man. They're both under 5 years old. My issue is this. He had an ongoing thing with his ex, whom I know he's still attracted to, because honestly, I mean, really, really, she's like a model. Wow, women usually never say nice things about competition for their man, for their boyfriend, for their husband. She's one of those women that every guy thinks is right, slim, some waist, and big in the right places. I just hate her, though. Of course you do. Of course you do. She actually has a kid too, but not with him. And her kid actually call him dad too. I know it's crazy, right? But the kid is 7 now, but they still go out for days at the park to play baseball or soccer. And he told me that he wanted to still be around for this kid, but really though, it's not good for us because he ends up hanging out at his ex's house, and I know they're hooking up. All right, right there. I don't know if they're hooking up. This is a dicey, messed up situation. If he told you from the get-go that he wanted to be a part of this kid's life, I find that admirable and cool. If he had, been around for that kid since he was young. But you have to be, if you're accusing them of hooking up, you better have some hard evidence. Because otherwise, you can't keep accusing someone of doing something they're not doing. The fact that you say she's extremely hot would make it a lot more difficult, right? She's just the type to not even care about that he's got a wifey like me. I got a better job than her and a much better house in a better neighborhood, but she does look better than me. Well, at least you're honest about that part. I mean, this isn't a rating system, right? Like, you shouldn't feel like, oh, I have a better car, I have a better job, but she looks better. You should feel like this is a guy that's all in with you. You obviously don't feel secure about that. And there's got to be a negotiation here. It can't continue this way. It sounds like he's not willing to give up, daddy time with the 7-year-old from the previous relationship. That's a tough one. And you're on the sidelines going, she's a threat. I hate saying it, but she's got a body and face. The bitch is blessed. What a way to put it. I've thought about getting surgery to enhance my backside, but I haven't looked into it. And my man doesn't want me to do it. He claims he loves me the way I am. Basically, right now, we just got into a major fight because he was over at the ex's house both Saturday and Sunday this past weekend. I've got one of my best friends reporting they were all at the park, and that while the kid was playing, they were looking like a couple. I mean, this is worst case scenario because it's going to hurt you that your friend saw this. You lose face. He told me that he never had a dad and that he'll never turn his back on her kid, and she should know that he'll never turn his back on my kids. I mean, that's an admirable thing to say, but at the same time, if they're spending like family time together, he should just be taking the kid out like a big brother or the dad on his own. So I'm with you. If this is accurate information, again, secondary sources, such as your friend. I mean, where's your friend's heart at? Is this some person that's a gossiper? Or is this some person that wants to upset you? Because there's some people like that are quote unquote friends. I told him he's got to choose because this isn't okay with me. I don't trust him, and I know she'll swoop him in a minute if we fall off. He walked out. I'm not into ultimatums, but I know where you're coming from on this. Ultimatums don't usually work because adults don't like to be in gun to the head negotiations. But ultimatums are done because you can't take the scenario now anymore and you want an answer. And so it doesn't sound like he's going to negotiate out of this. He's been doing it from the get-go. Why would he stop now? There's got to be some kind of consequence, and you're putting up a fight now. One thing that you could do, but it might get a little crazy, is you might have a sit down with her and him. I don't know if he'd agree to that. So you could be a little bit more trusting of him around her. But if he's spending Saturday and Sunday with her, or if he's getting lovey-dovey in the park, where there's smoke, there's fire on that one. He walked out and I haven't seen him for 2 days. I did drive by his ex's house and his car was actually parked around the corner. So I know he knew I'd be looking parked around the corner. I texted him and he said he just needs some space right now to figure things out because he's not ready to cut his ex and her kid out of his life. Now I'm thinking, what do I do? I don't want to lose, and I surely can't let him see his ex like this. See, that's the problem. Like, you're trying to control the situation, and it sounds like he's not going to let you control him. I know they hook up. Do you know? There's a difference between knowing something and assuming something. And the problem is I let it go for too long, but now I'm getting to the point where I want to get married, get more serious, have a kid with him, and take the next step. We can't have this mess in the background. Well, first thing I'm going to ask you is, have you told him that? I mean, I coach women all the time, and a lot of times they have trouble like being straight up. They have trouble saying, did you tell him that? You need to tell him, hey, look, things are changing. I want to get married. I want to possibly have a kid with you. See how he reacts to that. Maybe he's not even on board for that. See, if that's what's in your background and your head, and that's why you're changing your direction, you need to be directly honest about that. And if because that might change his mind in the other direction. And you need to know, you're right. You're 28 years old. I get it. Your biological clock's ticking. You got 2 kids. You got a house. You got a good job. All right, fine. You need to come up to him and say, hey, look, we've been together this long. This is why we need to cut the anchor on this ex, because I want to get something going long-term with you. See how he reacts to that, instead of accusing him of hooking up with her, accusing him of playing around. Tell him why you want this. Am I missing something here? How can we make this work? Yeah, just tell him that. Tell him, instead of leading with, I know you're seeing her. I know, like, you can't see her anymore. You have to make a choice. Lead with, I love you. I don't want to do this anymore. I think we're good together. I want a long-term relationship. I want to have a kid with you, and I want to get married to you. And I think that we're good together. Lead with that rather than accusations and assumptions. Is it going to work? I don't know. But that's leading with love rather than a lot. If you just completely don't trust him and you think he's doing this, he probably won't change. But at least have an honest, loving conversation. All right, I got one more story on deck. I'm going to check in on the live stream real quick. Men want loyalty, women want control. Might be right there, dude. It's hard, man. I never felt like this my whole life. The emotional pain is like getting jumped by 10 pigs and then kicking the shit out of you. Wow. So in my case, space is good. Dude, it's day 36. It feels so fresh, like a big, fat, juicy wound some days. But you know what? You keep showing up. Don't give up on yourself, man. It will get better. And when you get through this, you'll feel so damn good. They celebrating about Kevin Samuel. What's your takes? I talked about Kevin Samuel, Pioneer Caddy, a couple days ago, and my bottom line on that is I would never spit on anyone's grave or throw dirt on anyone's grave. Kevin Samuels to me was entertaining, highly intelligent, a smart dude, good approach, had a good style to him. But I did say this. He was audacious, which really gets you views now, really gets you an audience. Okay. And like I said, highly intelligent. Like he was polished, right? He can make a good argument. I do think that he was, this is the comparison I made a few days ago. It's like he was taking easy shots at individuals that he'd have on his show that weren't highly intelligent. So it's like Michael Jordan saying, oh, let me play this player one-on-one and dominate and talk shit, and they're completely inferior athletically. He would have people on his show, sometimes females, that thought they were, smart, and he would just outduel them, make them look stupid. But really, it would have been interesting for him to get some women on there that were up to par. You know what I mean? That would be able to spar at his level. Does that make sense to you? And some of the things he said and the audacious things he did which, it's his platform, it's his show. He's going to make some enemies, and that's why you're popular. But I don't believe anyone should, be happy someone passes or anything like that. But I had clients that hated him, and I have clients that love him. I thought it's a lot of entertainment. I would have loved to be on his show, man. Like I said, the only thing I would say though is like, you're having some of these individuals on that are easy kills. That's a bad way to put it, considering he's passed away. But easy prey, to make them look stupid, right? But I was absolutely shocked when I seen him go down. One of the things I thought about was that he always drank. Red Bull, like at night on his shows, and I always thought, wow, I'm not saying that's what made him go, but it's just that's not a healthy drink to drink regularly. G Money. Teos Wouth. Where are you from in the world? That's kind of a weird name. I'm probably saying it wrong. Number 1, would cut all ties with this man to show him that I mean business. Number 2, I would force myself to block him on everything. Number 3, I would start working on myself to figure out why I'm so hard on myself. Well, good for you. I like the 1, 2, 3. Good luck to this woman. That's nice support, hon. You're giving some advice out there, and you're saying what you would do in that situation. And that's what a lot of people do. They go, this is what I would do. And the most interesting thing I found out of being a coach, being a teacher for years, dealing with a lot of people at my age, dealing with people in different situations, you would do it your way because of your life experience and your outlook, your perceptions, your interpretations of the world, how you grew up, who you were around. And that person would do it different because they came up different. They had different experiences. But I like the close. Good luck. Miguel Coronado says, easier said than done. Can't play with no one's feelings. They feelings become yours. People want you to feel what they feel. Always remember that. Emotions drive people hard to have emotional self-control. Take this time to develop into a warrior. Miguel says, hypnosis works to create strength. Anyone that wants to do some guided meditation, hypnosis work, I am doing that now, certified in it. If you want to get your limited beliefs gone, if you want to start working on some things in a different way than just talking about it, hypnosis is a nice way to go. This sounds exactly like my past situation. I walked it, thinking back on it. Wasn't good for anyone to be in that situation. If you keep bashing a man like she is, he will eventually walk away. Well, also, let's just say he's not doing it and you're accusing him of it. Pioneer Caddy says, understood. The ones that knows better, you should have been on his show, How to Develop Emotional Self-Control. Red Bull Heart Attack, I said that too. I'm not saying that. I'm not a doctor. Okay, I'm not a health specialist. That just used to stand out to me. Here's a dude that's like well-groomed, like I said, highly intelligent, very elegant speaker. Very polished. I'm very impressed. And you drink Red Bull? That threw me off a little bit. All right, we got one more story on deck. Please keep the comments coming. Anything you want to talk about, I'll get to it after this story. If you have a story you want to send in and get my take on, go to writemac.com, send it in, and I'll give you my take in a live stream just like this. Or if you want to book a live coaching session and talk on Zoom with me. Let's get into it. So I want to start off by saying I've never asked or sought help in a relationship before. Well, congratulations. You came to the right place. I've been doing this for years, and I'm good at it. So we were together 10 months. We just recently broke up in January. We were together 10 months. We just broke up in January. So January, just broke up in January. January, correct me if I'm wrong, that's 4 months ago. So it wasn't just January. However, we did still see each other and talk up until March when he completely cut things off with me. Well, you weaned him off the relationship, maybe. Just know when you keep seeing each other post-breakup, if they broke up with you, you're kind of weaning them off the relationship. If you're not able to fix the problems, men, especially men, will love if you'll continue to see them post-breakup while they're single and taking advantage of that. However, I didn't take the breakup well at all. I unfortunately begged and pleaded with him. I'm super embarrassed about this again. I've never begged anyone before. Don't be embarrassed. There's no need for that. Everyone meets their match in the game of love. Even guys that I know that are pickup artists or really good with women have called me crying to talk about, I can't believe she broke up with me. So it happens to the best of people, even people that believe they're good at relationships. Don't be ashamed at all, hon. I even showed up at his house after he blocked me, my phone number, which I know was a huge mistake, and only pushed him farther away. It's okay. You did it already. A lot of people do it. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just don't continue to do it again and again. There's got to be a point in time when you stop. And forgive yourself, okay? And if you want to do a live coaching session, I can help you with that, because that's a big problem. If you're carrying guilt and shame about this, I can help you with that. So I did this probably 2 months, the begging and asking. 2 months is pretty long to do begging and asking, but I'm going to guess that you were getting some kind of pulse that the relationship might get back together, because when you were begging and asking, he was receptive to this, or you guys were hooking up. So, and somehow to do it for 2 months, it was somehow working, or you perceived it to be working. I did try to cut contact with him 2 times, which only lasted each time about a week. Then I'd start again. Now I've completely decided to go no contact for 30 days. I'm on day 10. I do want to add several things that I do think are important to our story. He is 39. I'm 27. Okay. This was neither of our first serious relationship. We've both been married before and have kids. Okay. I've been married twice and have 2 young kids. Okay. Married twice at 27, huh? Okay. Well, you have experience in relationships and you have experience dealing with breakups. And he's been married once. It was for 11 years, and she did cheat on him. Okay. Thanks for the details, by the way, on this, because this helps me give you advice. He has 2 teenage kids. I am not his first relationship since his divorce. He had 3 girlfriends since him. Him and his ex-wife split up 3 years ago. From speaking and being with him, I gathered he was completely over his ex-wife, just not over what happened to him. Well, whenever someone gets cheated on and they didn't see it coming, it's like post-traumatic stress. So he'll have triggers about that. And it's not necessarily that he wants her back. It's probably that he's worried it'll happen again. And if you do anything to assimilate what happened in that past relationship, and you're not cheating or you're not doing that, he might relate it. So he's definitely going to be more sensitive being what happened to him. So because of the cheating, plus his background of his parents being divorced and him being raised by his aunt, I believe he has had a hard time opening up and trusting people. He was very to himself about his emotions. He doesn't really explain or open up about anything. A lot of men are like this, actually. So most of the time, it left me guessing and confused on where we were in our relationship. So now to our relationship. Just to let you know, a lot of times this might sound twisted, but being confused or guessing in a relationship can build attraction for a woman. It's called an open loop in psychology, the cliffhanger in a movie. It keeps you engaged in the relationship. I don't think he was intentionally doing that, but it will mount more attraction and it will make you chase. A lot of books on attraction for men actually promote to keep you guessing. Like I said, I'm not saying he did this on purpose, but this could be a reason why you've chased for so long. Everything started out amazing and on a super high. He pursued me very hard in the beginning. I actually told him 3 or 4 times I was not ready to date, but he was persistent and took time getting to know me. And my walls came down and we ended up boyfriend, girlfriend. He let me know early on he was too old to deal with drama and arguing, and told me that's why he ended things with his last 3 girlfriends. and then proceeded to tell me each relationship only lasted between 10 and 12 months. Well, yours lasted 10 months, so there you go. He's got a playbook he's running. He's already telling you from the get-go, I'm not putting up with any drama. Okay? And here's the thing about the age gap. For both sides, it's very attractive, but you're going to have different morals and values and perspectives on how things work. And so the odds are a little bit against you to stay together long term. And the fact that he already went through 3 girlfriends, he's already got it lined up that don't do any drama, which there's going to be drama, especially if there's an age gap. You guys both have kids. There's going to be some moments where there's some drama. If he's saying like there's a no drama policy, that's going to be tough to confide in those boundaries. For him to put that out right away, that means he's filtering and looking for it and can sabotage the relationship rather than working when it comes up, which honestly kind of scared me because it seems like a pattern of how long he dated each girl and the reason they split up, which seems to be exactly what happened to us. So this is very mindful of you. I often say this. I have a book coming out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but one of the chapters will be called Playbooks. He's running a playbook. He doesn't know he's running a playbook. People repeat what they've done in the past because it's comfortable, and it sounds like that's what he's doing. And so you lined that up right here. We were together 10 months, and he said the reason for us was fighting as well. I know parts of this story is kind of too much information and personal, but I do think this is important to our story too. As far as I know, he never told anyone but his ex-wife he loved them. Okay. I know I was in love with him, but I never told him out of fear of rejection. I honestly wanted to tell him to tell me first. All right. So there's no rules to when you tell someone you love them. I've said this many times. The definition of love is your definition of love. So someone telling you, well, love is this, love is that. What's love to you? What does the word love mean to you? Some people take quite a long time to divulge the word love. It's up to you to decide what you expect from that word and when to say it. The idea that you were scared to be rejected is not a good place to be in a relationship. It would have been nice for you to just have a conversation about it and say, you could be vulnerable. Go, look, I love you. Where are we at with this? But I have a very strong feeling, which I could be wrong, that he did love me. And this is why. Now I know guys can a lot of times tell you things you want to hear, or in a moment say things, and it may be true, but I've dated a lot of men and been married twice, so I feel I have a pretty good tell when someone's being genuine and when they are not. I'll take your word for it. That's what I said in the beginning. You've been married twice. I didn't know, you said you dated a lot of men. You got some life experience. You understand men probably more than the average 27-year-old. Then I would trust your intuition a little bit more than someone that's just been with one person, right? Lost my place here. Now, I know guys, okay, I feel I'm pretty good to tell he was different than any man I ever dated. Well, here's the thing. I often say this to people. Human beings are like fingerprints. We're intricate. Once you think you really know someone, they might surprise you. So trustworthy, and I knew when he said something, he wasn't bullshitting. This is where you like the age gap. He's 39 years old. He knows what he wants. He's got a few kids. This is where women are attracted to older men. He probably wasn't this way when he was 27. So he told me he saw a future with me multiple times, a house, our kids meeting, and that he even wanted to have a kid with me. He also tried multiple times to get me pregnant. So I know he wasn't lying about any of this. I would literally have his kid if I wouldn't have taken a plan B. Sorry, I don't want to leave out any detail because of how serious you wanted to have a kid with me and why I'm so confused. Why I'm so confused how we are and where we are now. Well, I would say I wouldn't jump into having kids if you were only together 10 months and you're scared that he's going to reject you because he hasn't said I love you yet. That seems to be something that you'd want to get in order before you start thinking about kids, right? We didn't live together, but we each had our own place. And when we didn't have our kids, spent the whole weekend together. Also, my kids are young, so they go to bed around 7:30, 8 p.m. So once my kids were asleep, he'd come over and attempt to get pregnant like he did with me, and attempt to get pregnant with me. I mean, I don't understand why he wants to get you pregnant so much when he hasn't said I love you and you've only been together 10 months and your kids haven't met yet. I don't think that's a good route. But that's for you to decide. Now he could be just saying that. Who knows? He could be, that's a dirty way to go about things if that's your game. But I mean, you said he's trustworthy. But to me, it seems like he had stronger feelings for me than them. His exes also lived farther away than I did, and one even lived with her parents. So he definitely wasn't staying the night every night or spending as much time with them as he did with me. So why are you comparing his exes with you? One more important part of this story is we broke up one other time. It was in August, 5 months in our relationship. Back then, my feelings were not as strong for him, so it was easy to cut him off. All right. We broke up one other time in August, 5 months into our relationship. Back then, my feelings were not as strong for him, so it was easy to cut him off. He broke up with me. I immediately went to no contact, never begged, never reached out, and he messaged me within 3 weeks and we got back together. I wish I would have gone no contact again immediately, but emotions took over and I had fallen in love when we were spending tons of time together. I was scared because, like I said, all the other exes, same time frame, 10 to 12 months. So those were the reasons I begged. I was very scared to lose him. So in closing, I have a few questions. The main ones are, do you think he will come back? I'm still puzzled on why you broke up. I mean, what was there's a lot of information here. He doesn't trust you. He doesn't want to be, I mean, if you've broken up twice in 10 months, I would say even if you got back together, and he's gone through 3 girlfriends, all between 10 months and 11 months, I wouldn't say that I would put a lot of stock in you not breaking up again. The fact that he came back once before and you feel like your relationship was this strong, yeah, there's a 50-50 possibility. I feel like unless his feelings were just way too stronger for me than anyone else, he will not. What should my next move be? Well, begging hasn't helped you. It sounds like you were seeing each other, hooking up, which for a guy, in most cases, especially this one, sounds like it's ideal for them because they can have their cake and eat it too. He can play being single, but at the same time be, hooking up with you. So I would say your next move would be to cut off everything. You said you've gone 10 days of no contact. Stick with that. The last time it took 3 weeks. There's a strong possibility in 3 to 4 weeks that he does reach out to you. That being said, with the way things have transpired in this relationship, I would ask you this question back at you if we did a live coaching session. Why do you really want to get back with him, and do you trust him? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust with him at this point? If it's below 6, it's going to be pretty hard to get back together, because even if you get back together, you hook up, you're still going to maybe sabotage the relationship because you're going to be highly insecure. Like I've said, I dated a lot, been married twice. I've never really clicked or been in love like this before, and I desperately don't want to let it go. My question would be like, is the reason why you're so in love with this guy because you've never had someone break up with you like this, be distant, and not say I love you? So I know right now I need to leave him alone and give him his space. I agree. But how long should I wait before reaching out? I wouldn't wait at all. I would say that if last time you went no contact and it was 3 weeks, that would probably be a sweet spot again. 3 to 4 weeks is actually the hardest part for both sides on no contact. They say 3 weeks is what usually creates a habit. And so to me, 3 to 4 weeks is really a tough time. So if you can get to 3 to 4 weeks, but that doesn't necessarily mean I guarantee that. Or do you think I should ever even reach out? If you've been begging for 2 months, stop. Okay? Like I said, if you were a man and you were begging for 2 months, or And look at it this way. If you had a man begging you for 2 months to get back with you, you'd probably just be done. It would be so unattractive. Men, a lot of times, will take advantage of that subconsciously and go, cool, I can be single and I can still see her. But they will lose respect until you go all in and go no contact. They will lose respect for you. They won't lose attraction for you. They'll lose respect for you as a long-term partner. So right now, I would say no. Don't reach out. And how will I know if I'm unblocked? Don't even listen. You shouldn't even be worried about that. If you're going into no contact, being blocked is a good thing. If someone else blocks you on the other end, you need to leave them alone. Okay, they're blocking you because negotiations are off. They don't want to talk to you. You're the annoying salesman. Hey, I got a deal for you. Have you ever had any annoying salespeople? They annoy you and you just say, hey, leave me alone. And then eventually you tell the salesperson, I'll never buy anything from you. Get the hell away from me. That's who you are right now. You've been blocked. Respect it. Have some dignity and have some pride. You don't even want to know. You don't want to keep checking if you're blocked or not. Just move on. Last time we talked, he blocked my number because I was blowing up his phone, and I know I was wrong for that. I can't believe I ever begged. We should do a live coaching about this because there's something deeper here. There's something from your past that got triggered, and I could help you with that. I'd highly recommend we book a live coaching session. If you don't find it useful and helpful, I'll give you your money back. I know I won't know if I'm unblocked unless he reaches out to me. And finally, what should I do if I wait a month or two and try to text him and find out I'm still blocked? I mean, you begged for 2 months. You're shameful about that. He's blocked you. When someone blocks you, it's time to start moving in the other direction. Okay. Should I then let go, or how can I get him back? Well, those are two exactly different things. I don't think you're capable of letting him go, so don't force yourself to let him go right now. Accept the fact that he doesn't want you right now. Accept the fact that he's blocked you right now. That's what you have to do first before you could even think about. Here's the thing. You've tried to get him back. It didn't work. So actually, what's the alternative to letting him go? Because your approach, when you say, I'm going to get him back, you've actually pushed him away. Does that make sense? So you need to change your approach to, I'm moving forward. I'm going all in on no contact, and I'm going to work on myself every day. I'm going to put my extra time into my kids, and I'm going to take it day by day. I'm very scared to lose him. I'm afraid I have. That's the worst position to be in. And that's why, like I said, book a live coaching session with myself. I'll help you with this. But playing scared to lose is not playing to win. Playing to win's like, you know what? I've been with a few guys. I've been through a few marriages. I'll get through this one too. I'm hurting right now. It's really tough. But I'm going to get through this too with some pride, some dignity. And I'm going to put all my extra energy into my kids. And I'm going to be okay. And say that to yourself every night before you go to bed. Also, when I did start begging and pleading and going to his house, I know it was a total turnoff because he told me I was acting like his ex-wife, which he said I want nothing to do with. Well, there you go. And he already told you he doesn't want drama. He's 39 years old, and you're just extra helpings of drama here. So rather than figure out just how to get him back, you need to figure out how to get yourself back, because you're spun right now. You're actually in a trance state where you're obsessive about this. Even in your writing, you can tell that. Let's book a live coaching session and talk about this a little deeper, because there's something else here. But I want to show him I'm not like that. You're not going to. Okay, so showing him you're not like that is not contacting him anymore. So it's counterintuitive because people think I'm not doing anything. You actually are. You're proving that you're not a psycho. Because I've never really done this before. I let my emotions take over. Again, too much information, but I'm trying to tell I don't think it's too much information. I understand. Listen, I do this for a living. I help people with their breakups and their relationships. This is not uncommon for someone to be head over heels out of a breakup and not know what to do. But you're at a point right now where you're reaching out to myself, you're sharing your story, and I'm telling you right now, stay in no contact. Take it day by day, book a live coaching session. But the idea that you can do something is counterintuitive. Okay? What I want you to do is take it day by day, keep showing up in your own life, be a good mom. Okay? Stop trying to figure this situation out. Stop trying to figure out how you can't lose him. Try to win yourself back. You've been through 2 divorces. You can get through this. He did say, too, I was the prettiest girl he ever dated and that I was the most pleasing, which I do strive to please my partner in bed. He told me no one has been able to keep up with him and his sex drive but me. Okay, well then remove that away from him, and that's in your corner. So I feel like there were possibly many things I stood out about me to him, and that maybe he had stronger feelings for me than anyone else. But I'm scared I ruined it with the begging. Then just stop. So please, please, please help me. What should I do from here? Should I ever reach out again? At this point, no. But don't use the word ever and never. Just try to get to 30 days, okay? Just set your mark at that and then reassess. How should I reach out? What should I do? You should not reach out. You've done it too much. Even the way you wrote this story sounds like you're just running in circles. Reach out, and I'm still blocked. If you're blocked by your ex, don't try to contact them. Thank you for any help or advice you give, because I honestly don't know what else to do. So I gave you a pretty long take there. Like I said, I'd highly recommend doing a live coaching session. All right. So let me get into the live stream a little bit. Red Bull heart attack. I said that too. Best way to become stronger, coach. Everybody has a vice. I'm with you, G Money. It's a sex thing, Red Bull. I don't know what that means, actually. It's funny how much overlap there is between the psychology involved in media, advertising, and love. What do you mean by that, G Money? Elaborate a little bit. Pregnancy fetish? I don't know where that came from. He see a future, but the moment when you all break up, he gonna change his mind. Jesse Chapman, yes sir. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well, man. This guy's just happy to be nailing a younger woman. G Money goes straight for it. There's no timeline as hard as this gonna sound. You have to walk away for your own good and self-respect. Thanks, Jesse. I mean, no disrespect with this, but it sounds like she needs to find a hobby, find things to do other than obsessing over him. Well, whenever you're obsessing over someone, you're kind of in a, like I said, like a trance state, the same you drive a car and you don't notice things around you. This is probably a time when you need to talk to someone like myself and try emotional freedom technique, try some hypnosis, some guided meditation, and talk about things and unlock that trance. G Money, people have no idea how pathetic they sound when they're worrying what's going on with someone who broke their heart. Have some self-respect. My favorite catchphrase. What's your favorite catchphrase? She needs to do something healthy in the house. She needs to get into counseling before she gets charged with stalking. There's nothing funnier than watching people try the absolute hardest to avoid suffering that is inevitable. I painted my whole living room in a space of 58 hours at Christmas. When I came home after a bad time with someone, nothing happens overnight. Get the coaching session. It will be worth it. Thanks, Jesse. 48 hours. Rolo talks about how a man has to showcase himself as a brand. You have to cultivate your image for dating, just like how companies project a certain image. Do you agree with that, G Money? I've heard him say that. Commercials show people happy and having fun. Social media is the same thing. Well, the greatest compliment I get, and I actually get it from a lot of my coaching clients, is down to earth and authentic. And I'll take that one in my back pocket. Man, that was a long story today. If anyone else has a story they want to share, get it out there. Send it into writemac.com. Book a session. Mac, I'm going to head to the gym, mate. I will drop you an email. We need to catch up before I go away, mate. It's overdue, but absolutely, Jesse. All right, Miguel, Pioneer Caddy, I'm glad you came on a roll for a little while today and dropped some comments. Tio Wath, thank you for your takes. G Money's always welcome. Little guardian at the gate. And Jesse Chapman, always a pleasure. All right, folks, it's been good. It's been grand. It's curtains.